Hi everyone, this is Kalyan Kumar this side and welcome back to Chemistry Universe. We are in part 12. We have finished disaccharides, now we are on to polysaccharides. Basically, we are going to discuss three basic polysaccharides: starch, glycogen and cellulose. Whereas in this video, we will only focus on starch because starch is a little bit longer than others. So we will look at starch, which is a polysaccharide. And remember, these polysaccharides are multiple units of these monosaccharides. Okay. So, and they're all linked by that ether linkage. It all depends upon which OH goes of one, which kind of monosaccharides are being used, which OHs are linking up together. So that would change the basic nature of these polysaccharides. So let's get the ball rolling. And this is polysaccharides video number 10. Okay. So let's look at polysaccharides and we start with starch. So let's understand what is starch, its occurrence. Now the value of N, this N is a C6H10O5. It could be any of the monosaccharides. They all have the same formula, at least the hexaaldoses and ketoses. The N can vary from 100 to 3000 and it all depends on the source. And they're all called starch. Now, it is the chief food reserve material or storage polysaccharides of plants and is found mainly in seeds, root, tubers, etc. So, this is the main food source that plants are able to give. So, whatever you consume in plants, if there is any carbohydrate that you consume in it, it is starch basically. And basically the roots, the seeds, all of these contain this particular thing, starch. Wheat, maize, rice, potatoes, barley, bananas, and sorghum are the main sources of starch. Starch occurs in the form of granules which vary in shape and size depending upon their plant source. And it occurs in all the green plants that we find in nature. What are the properties of starch? Now, starch is a white amorphous powder sparingly soluble in water. It is practically insoluble in water. Its aqueous solution gives a blue color with iodine solution due to the formation of an inclusion complex. Now, these are extremely beautiful reactions to observe. We even call them as clock reactions, where a starch would form a deep blue-black complex with iodine. And the reaction is so fantastic that if you take a clear solution of starch, which is created at high temperature because at normal room temperature it won't be soluble in water, you add iodine, the solution would be colorless and instantly it will become black or blue-black. So that is how instantaneous the reaction is. Okay, an inclusion complex is a chemical complex in which one chemical compound, the host, has a cavity into which a guest compound can be accommodated. Now, on hydrolysis with dilute mineral acids or enzymes, starch breaks down into maltose and finally to D-glucose. So the starch will hydrolyze, the polysaccharide will hydrolyze to a disaccharide. They will all give maltose units. And we know maltose is made up of glucose only. So you use a maltase enzyme or hydrolysis acidic and you get eventually glucose. Now, obviously, starch is a non-reducing saccharide. It neither reduces tolerance nor failing. So what does it indicate? It means there is no hemiacetal form. This suggests that all hemiacetal OH groups or the anomeric OH of glucose units at C1 are not free and all are involved in the glycosidic linkages, the ether linkages. Let's see the composition. Now, starch is not a single compound, but it is a mixture of two components. A water-soluble component called alpha amylose, which is 10 to 20%, and a water-insoluble component called amylopectin, which is close to 80 to 90%. Now, both amylose and amylopectin are polymers of alpha-D-glucose. So, both are basically composed of alpha-D-glucose, but the way they are composed is slightly different. And the amylose part, that is soluble in water. The amylopectin part is not. And since the major is amylopectin, so in majorly you'll find starch very sparingly soluble in water. Now, if you look at structure of amylose, alpha amylose consists of an unbranched chain with a molecular weight vary from 10,000 to around 1 million, and so n can vary from 60 to 6,000. The value of n, of course, depends on the source and the treatment of alpha amylose. Amylose is water soluble and gives a blue color with iodine solution due to the formation of an inclusion complex. So it is this one which does that. Amylose is made up of alpha D glucose units with each ring attached with its anomeric O to the C4 carbon of the next unit. So you have one glucose unit like this. Now remember, this is the anomeric O. This is the anomeric O. And this is the C4O. So one may wonder, so if anomeric O is reacting with C4, then wouldn't the anomeric O of this one be free? No, because it's a polymer. So this O again is connected to another O. So basically it's a repeating unit like this. So C1 to C4 linkage. But since all of the C1s are used up, of course, you may think that maybe the ends won't be, but they don't matter. They're just one or two. And the structure of amylopectin, on the other hand, is a little more complex. Amylopectin is insoluble in water and is relatively more stable towards hydrolysis to maltose by the enzyme diastase and to D-glucose by dilute acids. It constitutes around 80 to 85% of the starch. It's a branched polymer, which is very difficult to hydrolyze, of alpha D-glucose units, in which chain is formed from C1 to C4 as expected, whereas branching occurs by C1 to C6. So basically what I'm saying is, look at this. Now can you see this is C1 to C4 linkage, and this continues. Can you see this is also C1 to C4 linkage? This continues. But two of these, you will find that this anomeric O and the C6O here, they form branches. So every few lengths, the C6 will start forming a branch with a layer of this. So it's actually a branched structure. So C1 to C4 for each chain, then branching occurs between C1 to C6. And that, by the way, is starch. So this is the conclusion of video number 10, starch. You just have to learn the basic structures of amylose and amylopectin. And I think it will be much easier to understand starch like that. Remember the properties of starch. It's non-reducing, and the fact that it's weakly soluble in water and all of that, they are pretty important. So with that, we'll come to the end of this video. In the next one, we'll catch you with glycogen and cellulose. Till then, goodbye, have a nice day, and thank you for watching this.